It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we are talking victim advocate, and my guests in studio today are Cottonwood Police victim advocate Johanna Rutschow to my right. Across from me is volunteer Kathy Rayleigh, and on the floor there, you can see taking a quick little nap before we get started is Kathy's dog, Kathy's dog Tilly. I almost called her Rayleigh. That's your last name, Kathy. Thank you all three for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We obviously there is a big difference between what Tilly does and what a usual police dog will do, and we wanted to kind of break that down to discuss a different version of canines in the Cottonwood Police Department. My original question was, how did the program originate? But it seems like it's more of a hodgepodge kind of answer here. Kathy, you come from Colorado.
Yes.
Grand Junction, Colorado. You served as the head of victim services for the Mesa County District Attorney's Office, and you were moving here when Johanna put up an ad for something similar to this, correct?
Yes, it was a volunteer job, position, so to speak. And so when I saw that and I knew we were moving back to the area, I called her, reached out to her and said, hey, I'd like to volunteer, but I come with a little excess baggage. And it has kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah, and it seems like Tilly is just like a big-time welcome addition to the Cottonwood Police Department. Johanna, on your side, how did this program originate?
It's been fantastic, and at Cottonwood Police and our victim services, we try to brainstorm and figure out ways to serve victims, new ways to serve victims. And always on my little mental bucket list was having at some point a dog, but I didn't know how I would be able to make that happen just with my situation. So when Kathy approached us, it was pretty amazing. It was just phenomenal. She came to me, said she wanted to volunteer. She has a dog with an extensive resume, and it just seemed like the perfect fit for Cottonwood Police.
And it very much was, and thus here we are, the Victim Advocate Program. Who funds the program?
Well, there's my program, and then there's Tilly's portion.
Okay.
So I'm funded by a grant. It's through VOCA, which is Victims of Crime Act. It's a federal grant. And that's how the department funds my position and things that go along with my position. Tilly is not funded through my grant, but an amazing thing about the city of Cottonwood is that this past summer, I think it was, we started a community fundraiser for Tilly on Facebook. To raise funds, and those funds help cover Tilly's vet costs. Okay. Her grooming, she needs more grooming than just a regular pet because she gets touched a lot. Any other sort of food items, any other things for Tilly. And the community just went all out for that fundraiser. And I remember, the first couple days of having that online, I would be texting Kathy like, you would not believe our fundraiser's taking off, and it was super exciting. And it just shows how great people in Cottonwood are and how open and receiving they are to Tilly and the department as well. So that's how Tilly is funded.
Okay. What I find really interesting, and before we started the interview, you sent over some great talking points regarding Tilly and the program. And Tilly's insured for $1 million.
She is.
That's a great insurance plan.
Yes, it is. She is through Canine Companions for Independence, and that is where Tilly received her training. So they do insure her for $1 million, and it's a good thing to have when you work with a facility dog that's around the public frequently.
Now, is this kind of like, obviously Tilly is a Labrador Retriever, a much larger breed dog. Is there a parameter? Is there sort of a requirement for what kind of breed the dog has to be? Are you guys looking for larger dogs, or is it okay if maybe I brought in like a Chihuahua or a Dachshund, is much more smaller breed? Is it easier to have a larger dog? What sort of candidates are you kind of looking for when this program kicks off?
Tilly is called a facility dog, and there are many types of dogs that do a job similar to hers. There's a service dog, a therapy dog, and I know some of those dogs can be other breeds, and often are other breeds. What Tilly does as a facility dog, and through Canine Companions for Independence, the company that trained her, it seems like they mostly train with labs and golden retrievers. Is that correct, Kathy?
Yes, they've been around since they started their nonprofit organization in 1975, and they breed and train and then put out their own dogs. So they only breed labs, golden retrievers, or a cross between those, because they have found that breed works the best for what they then appoint their dogs to. So you have to put in an application for them.
Right.
It's a vetting process, but then when you are chosen and you move through the process, they then give you your trained facility dog or your trained assistant dog for free. So it's a really good program.
She started that as a puppy, so she wasn't Kathy's pet.
Right.
She's been raised as a puppy to do the job she has today.
And I would assume those types of dogs you talk about, Labrador Retrievers and German Shepherds, a little bit easier to train, I would assume, than certain breeds of dog, correct?
Well, CCI doesn't do German Shepherds, but
I'm sorry.
For what they do, they have found that these are the calmest dogs and are best for what they want. Those two breeds seem to want to please. They want to do what their owner wants them to do, and it works really well for what they need. So.
Training. We talked about training. What specifically kind of training is Tilly going through to become a facility dog?
Well, she's already certified.
Okay.
So.
Well, I guess more other dogs. So just in general, I guess the training just in general.
Well, Tilly, all of her training was done through CCI, and it's quite extensive. The first 18 months is done with a volunteer puppy raiser. People sign up to be a volunteer to take Tilly into their home for 18 months, and they kind of socialize them. So they do the sit, stay type of stuff. And then the most important thing that they do in that first 18 months is they take them to places like Home Depot or the grocery store, and then they also put them on transportation, so city buses, and they put them on an airplane so that they, in the first 18 months of their life, they are used to all these loud noises. They're used to a lot of people. They're used to squirming their body into small places if they have to be. So. And then after that 18 months, she's placed with a professional trainer that is an employee of CCI, and they teach them then approximately 40 commands. So she has the same knowledge and knows the same commands as if she were to be someone's individual service dog.
Right, but completely different than what we would see from a usual canine police officer. More obviously, very different training. Those kind of dogs are looking for completely different things than what Tilly would be trained for. So more commands, less commands, regardless, different commands. It's different. As you said, just under 40 commands Tilly knows outside of just sit and stay, of course, or sleep, as she's currently doing.
She's really good at that.
She's adorable. Ryan had a nice shot of her earlier, and he brought up her lower third, and it was very cute. She's pretty knocked out. But you did say that they're very, very calm dogs. I grew up with Labrador Retrievers. We had two, and they're very, very calm and relaxed dogs, and they're the best. Honestly, they're absolutely the best. The shedding is a little annoying, but it's something that we can definitely get past. We're going to take a break a little bit early here because I want to dive into the differences between what Tilly does and what a canine officer does, and talk a little bit more about Tilly and Kathy and what they do for the Cottonwood Police Department. So Countywide's going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in-ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain relieving salves, full spectrum oils, CBD skincare, bath bombs, and even CBD for your pets. Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3.
Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. On today's show, we are speaking with Johanna Rutschow of Cottonwood Police and victim advocate volunteer Kathy Rayleigh, as well as facility dog Tilly. We are speaking about the victim advocate program at Cottonwood Police. I'm your host, Philip Katafamo. There is Tilly right there on your screen, acting very, very calmly, as she is supposed to do in her profession. Just be a nice, relaxing, furry, pettable object, and she does a phenomenal job at it. But we were talking about training before we headed into our first break, and one more question popped up regarding the training before we get into the difference between what Tilly does and what you see from usual K-9 officers. Is there any ongoing training that Tilly goes through as she gets older? You talked a lot about when she was a puppy. Obviously there's a bunch of training going on with CCI, but is there secondary training or adult dog training that she goes through a little bit later? And I'll direct that at you, Kathy.
Well, she has to be certified. So initially she was certified for 1 year. After that year, we went back as a team and we were recertified. Actually, they came to us in Colorado. So we went to the Denver side of the state and we were certified for another 3 years. So they then, at that certification time, is when they test to see if I've been keeping up on her commands. And their suggestion to me, because she is a facility dog versus a service dog, is if you don't use that command, just lose it. Mm-hmm. So some commands I keep up on, even though she wouldn't use them in a courtroom per se. Okay. But on a daily basis, I work on something with her, even if it's just a couple of minutes a day, because we have to be recertified every year to 3 years. Yeah,
because there's very much outside of just the training for Tilly. You, as her handler, you also have to go through a lot of extensive training as well, and learning the commands and learning when to use them. Right. And I'm pretty sure that there is a way that you should present yourself and Tilly when you're around these people who have gone through these things. I do want to get to one of my questions here, which is the difference between what Tilly does and what we got with a K-9 officer. So what is that? Where are we at with differences on that?
Well, if you would meet both Kratos, who is our currently retired dog, and Tilly in the room, you would immediately see the difference. Kratos is a fantastic, super smart dog. He does not have Tilly's demeanor. He's there to work. He has a job to do. It's an important job. It's a serious job. He goes after drugs. He goes after bad guys. Tilly does not do that.
Yes. No, she does not.
So the demeanor, their training, they're both very well trained animals. Kratos is just completely different. Yeah. Kratos is, like I said, there to catch the bad guys. Tilly is there to calm the victims.
It's interesting. During our break, Tilly was walking around a little bit, and you brought up a good point. When she's got on that vest, she's a completely different dog. As you see, we've seen it here. Currently, Tilly's just very relaxed. As we discussed, that's her job is to calm people and be relaxing. And you said when she puts on that vest, she's like a completely different dog, just like Kratos. I'm sure normally when Kratos is not in police dog work, he's a very friendly dog. He's just like any other dog. But when he gets on that police vest, he knows that it's business time and he's got to be a police officer. And I would assume that's the same, obviously, with Tilly as well, but in a different capacity. Yeah,
when she does have the vest on, she knows it's time to go to work. Without the vest, if I would see her in our parking lot or out in the community, it'd be, jumping around, running around, excited for something, to play ball, her favorite activity. But when she has that vest on, she knows what to do. She's been around the department enough that she knows where the rooms are that she goes to. We've done a little bit of training in our interview rooms, so she knows where to sit. She knows that room. We have a room off the lobby that we have victims and their families in. Yep. She knows what to do there. Like, she will jump up on the couch and sit next to someone if they need that, or by their feet. She's there to work, and she has an important job.
Yes, yes. As you can see right there, we've got some photos up on screen of Tilly doing just that, just being very comforting with the victim and making sure that they are nice and relaxed and don't feel any more pressure. And I think the overarching thing that I have yet to ask is what does a usual day in the life of Tilly look like, and what does she do? What is a facility dog?
Well, she's in 2 different buildings for us. She's at the department for us to be with victims, to be with them during an interview. She also works at the Cottonwood Municipal Court. That's the court that the police department uses for our misdemeanor crimes. So she's in those 2 locations. At the department, a typical day for Tilly, if she is there to work with some of our victims of crime, would include her spending time with them. Just giving her a comforting presence. I think a great thing about facility dogs is that they are there to provide a compassionate way to get justice. Especially with our child victims, often a parent will bring in a child to disclose or to talk about a case that their child is involved with. It's very stressful for the parent, for the child. When we take that child to do an interview, or even adult, they go by themselves with our officers or detectives. And our officers and detectives do a great job of making people feel comfortable. But they are by themselves. So Tilly's job is to walk with them to the interview room, to sit by them. They hold Tilly's leash if they want. They can pet Tilly. They do all those things, and it's just a way to calm them down. When someone's stressed, retelling maybe an event that's been one of the worst in their lives, they have all those stress hormones. Having a dog releases like that oxytocin, that calming hormone, rather than the cortisol, which would be your more stressful hormones. It relaxes them. They're able to retell their story in a way that we can work with at the department to get them justice in the end.
Yeah, very therapeutic, as you mentioned, to just sort of calm somebody down after a horrific event or an incident like you just said. I had a question, now I'm like, now I remember it. So outside of the victim aspect, there is a lot of benefit to the department itself of Cottonwood Police. You talked to me on Tuesday when you both came in to sort of look at the set and get an idea as to how the show works. You had said that Tilly likes to roam around the department. Everybody likes to pet her and be around her because she's so calming and so relaxed. And she's a dog. Who doesn't love dogs? But outside of that, police officers who go out on very dangerous calls, or dispatchers who are having to send out police officers to horrible calls, having that dog around that they can go, well, you're not like Kratos, so I can pet you. I can, this is nice. This is relaxing me a little bit. It's very therapeutic also for the department itself.
Yeah, it's been great. When Tilly is with us, she will often spend an hour or so in dispatch. And I think I saw a picture of Tilly and one of our dispatchers. So Tilly will just hang around there. She'll maybe play a little bit with them. She'll just be there for them. And that's what Tilly does. And even with our officers, Tilly has her favorites, of course, but she will just roam around, play ball. She loves to eat and
sleep, or at least she's currently doing that now. But we just want to make it very clear that she's only sleeping because she is on the job right now, and she is supposed to be. I know that sounds weird. You're usually not supposed to sleep at work, but that is what Tilly is doing. She is working right now. She is being that calming presence. Earlier, she was roaming around. We were able to pet her a little bit, and now she's just kind of chilling in that one spot asleep. She's a great dog.
Yeah, she does. And a few times when she's been with a victim, she will be resting like she does now, and you can hear her breathing, and a couple times she would give a little snore or two. It just kind of lightens the mood. And it's that just minute of little break where, I don't focus on this crime, it's a dog. She's snoring, and it's adorable, and it's been great. It's a great addition.
Yes, Tilly is a wonderful dog, and we have one more segment with Tilly and Kathy and Johanna speaking about the Victim Advocate Program at Cottonwood Police. On the other side of this break, we'll talk about how you can get involved with this program. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Welcome back to Countywide. On today's show, we are talking victim advocate of Cottonwood Police, and I am joined today by victim advocate Johanna Rutschow, volunteer Kathy Rayleigh, and her dog Tilly, who is currently underneath the table, right under the legs of Kathy Rayleigh. We have talked about a lot. We've talked about the origin of the program. We've talked about training for these dogs, but we haven't talked about is how you can get involved with the program. A lot of wonderful community support. I'll let you tell the story, but you guys put up initially a $4,000 goal to raise money for the program, and somebody ended up giving you guys $2,000.
Yeah, it was great. I think I already mentioned that Facebook fundraiser, but it just goes to show that people in this community are just very open to Tilly, to having a facility dog. It's kind of a new thing in the criminal justice system and the judicial system. It's not been around for forever. When dogs are in a courthouse during court proceedings or in a police department during interviews or forensic interviews. So that's been great. And I know Kathy's been really appreciative of the community support also.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Tilly is her dog, and she, you know, if the community did not support Tilly's grooming, vets, all that, that's on Kathy to do.
Yeah.
So it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really, it is really nice.
Yeah.
You know, coming up here from Southern California, I've kind of been around the community a lot, and there is a lot of support here for a lot of different programs and a lot of different events here in the Cottonwood and Verde Valley area. And you know, stuff like this is great to know that we have.
Yeah.
Just being around Tilly, I feel more relaxed. You know, I'm usually a little nervous when we do these shows, but I'll tell you what, Tilly's a great dog, and this is a wonderful program. And how can people get involved? I don't know if there's a volunteer program with this. I know, Kathy, you and Tilly had to go through training. It's not like you're volunteering for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. You just kind of step into it, you know, with a little bit of training. But is there a volunteer aspect to this? Is there a way that people can get involved? Is there a way that maybe they can donate? Or how can the community continue to show their support for this program?
Yeah, we're always taking donations because that money can be used for future trainings for Tilly and Kathy. And in fact, they're doing one training right now that's pretty interesting, a training on how Tilly would respond with Kathy to a mass victimization event. So those are things that money could fund. Also, volunteers. Kathy is my volunteer, and she came to me with a ton of experience. I just feel like the luckiest advocate around here because she sought me out in our department, so that's fantastic. But we do have volunteers with the Victim Assistance Program. One volunteer position that we're looking at is to have someone come into the municipal court because we now have office space there. Victim Services has office space just for a couple hours a day, couple days a week, and be there for victims that come to the court to get something like an order of protection. to be there for those victims.
Okay.
So yeah, if someone's interested in volunteering with our program, they can contact me at the Cottonwood Police Department, and we can take it from there.
Perfect. We are out of time. I told you the show goes quick, but I want to thank Joanna. Thank you very much for coming in. Kathy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Tilly, thank you for coming in as well, as she comes over here to say goodbye. That is going to be today's Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Katafamo, wishing you a great rest of your week. Try to stay dry out there, and we'll talk to you again next time.